Hello and welcome back to the library. Today I want to be talking about my 10 before the end of 2025. I like to use the end of the year to kind of read more historical fiction, regular fiction, literary fiction, sad books. I like to cry at the end of the year. I don't know, it's a problem. So I have 10 books. One of them is a reread. Two of them are from my spooky season that I have brought over. And then the rest of them are either ones that have been on my shelf that I want to read or ones that were highly recommended to me. There are 3 books in this stack that I honestly have no idea what they're about. They just sounded good, and I was sold on them when people were recommending them to me. So, as always, I want to start with what is currently checked out of the library, and that is The Last Days by Adam Nevill. This book has been phenomenal. I'm about 50% of the way through. His writing is amazing. This is my first Adam Nevill book, will not be my last, and I'm excited to give you my full thoughts and feelings at the end of the month. Okay. I'm going to try not to drone on and on about these because there's 10 and I don't want to make this an hour-long video. So, let's jump right into it. The first one is a reread. I read this in high school. It was one of the very few books in high school that I actually enjoyed, and that is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is about Guy Montag, who is a fireman, and his job as a fireman is to burn illegal commodities, which is the printed book. And he's also meant to burn the books as well as the house that they are being put in, or which they are hidden in. He never questions it, doesn't know why, he just does his job because he's told to, until he meets a young woman who kind of teaches him why books are important and the meaning that they have for people and what you can learn from them. And then he starts to question everything. I love this book. It has been almost 10 years since I've read it, and I really am going to read it again. I'm really excited to read it again. So that is on this list. The next 2 are the thrillers that were on my spooky season that I did not get to this month. I may get to them. I may get to them before the end of the month. We'll see. But the first one is Love Mom by Ileana Xander. And this is about a girl named Mackenzie Casper. She is brilliant in her own way, but she is best known for her infamous mother, who was a best-selling thriller author who wrote really dark and twisty novels. When her mother dies in an accident, everyone, her huge fan base, is left grieving, and the investigation is wondering if it was even an accident. Mackenzie goes to the funeral and then starts receiving these letters from, I think it's number one fan XOXO. And when she opens these letters, they are her mother's diary. And the first line of the first letter is, "Want to know a secret? Love, Mom." Mackenzie starts to get all of these letters one at a time, and she starts to realize that maybe her mother's success was not paved with good intentions as she would have thought, and that maybe there's more to the stories than meets the binding. So I'm very excited to read this one. My friend loved this one, said it's right up my alley. It also sounds quick and fast, and with how many big books and sad books are in this stack, I'll be happy to have something to kind of break it up. As if I don't read it before the end of the month. The next thriller is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors, and this is about a couple, the Wrights, who have been married for 10 years. They have started having problems. It's been kind of a rocky marriage, and they win a trip to Scotland. They think this is going to be perfect. Every year for their anniversary, they write each other letters but never give them to them. But when they get to Scotland, everything is not as it seems. They have found out that they have not won any trip on accident, and that maybe there's more deceit than meets the eye with them. So the cool thing about this is Adam, the husband, has face blindness, and so that also affects his wife. So if he's not looking, basically, if he's not looking at her, he knows who's talking to her, but he doesn't recognize her face when he looks at her straight on. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm hoping it's wintry with how the cover is all white and snowy, but we'll see. I'm excited. Okay, full discrepancy. I don't really know. There are 3 books in this stack that I don't have any idea what they are. This is the first one. This is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, and this is based off of the Charles Dickens story way back when. My understanding is that this is a rewrite with more modern dialogue and writing to make it a little easier to understand. I'm really excited to read this. I've heard good things. I've also heard it's sad. And I really like Charles Dickens. I've never read this Demon Copperhead by him, but I'm excited to read this novel so that I can, say I've read it. I'm also excited because my friend really likes it. He never reads fiction, and he loved this book, so I'm really excited for that as well. Okay, the next one is one my aunt gave me, and that is The Dog That Saved Me by Susan Wilson, and this is about a guy named Cooper Harrison, and he was working at a canine unit. Tragedy strikes. He goes through some major loss, and he has to move back to his hometown, which he escaped from many, many years prior. His dad was a drunk. His brothers are POSs who never amounted to much, and he did not want to be just another Harrison boy. So he moved away, started a new life for himself, and now he's back. He takes on the role of an animal control officer while he gets his life put back together. He has made it known that he is not getting attached. He takes everything with big detachment, and he's doing fine with that until he meets this gun-shy, semi-feral yellow lab, and together they are learning each other and how to work with each other and how to trust again. My aunt really loved this, said that I will like it, so I'm excited to read this. I'm reading this for 2 reasons. One, because my aunt recommended it, and I love to read books that family have recommended, especially when I don't come from a reader family. I'm really the only reader in the family, so when they give me book recommendations, I want to read them. The second one is I'm getting books for my birthday, and I'm getting books for Christmas, and I want to make room. I don't get rid of books I haven't read yet, but I also don't keep books that I wasn't 100% in love with. So this is going to be a read it to either keep it or get rid of it kind of book. So we'll see. Okay, this is another one I'm not 100% sure what it's about. All I know is it's going to make me cry because that's what I was told. Have my tissues ready. From what I understand, this guy named Beckett is in the military, receives the last letter from his friend Ryan, basically telling him that now that he is gone, his sister is raising her twins on her own, and she just suffered a ton of loss, like back to back to back in her family, and so she's dealing with all of that by herself. And so Ryan, the friend, writes to Beckett in the last letter and says, I need you to leave the military. I need you to go help take care of my sister. She's all by herself, and she really needs somebody. Can you please do this for me as your best friend? As your best friend. So I heard it's going to make me cry. I'm ready for it. I will have tissues at the ready. Okay, the next one is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. This was a Netflix film. I had never watched the film, but this was cheap on Amazon. My friend had it on her TBR. I told her I'd get it too. Neither one of us have read it yet. So this is about a boy named Theodore Finch who is infatuated with death, and he thinks of different ways that death could happen. And then Violet is counting down the days till she can move out of her small town and move on with her life and go to college. And at the same time, she's also dealing with the grief of her sister's death. They meet each other on the ledge of the bell tower, 6 stories above the ground, and they spark up a friendship. This friendship, they feel like nobody understands them like the other person, but as Violet slowly starts to get her life back together and her world seems to broaden, Finch seems to be getting smaller. And that's all I know about it. I like books that have the one person likes life and the one person craves death trope. The book that I first read that in is The Fabric of Our Souls, and it was really good. So I'm excited for this one as well. Okay, I have 2 that are historical fiction. I have The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which is by Heather Morris. This is obviously about a tattooist at Auschwitz who I believe strikes up a friendship with a Jewish girl who is in the concentration camp. So backstory, when I was in high school, I was nominated to go on this trip to Germany. We actually went to seven different countries in Europe, but one of them was Germany. And when we went to Germany, we got to go to Dachau, which is another concentration camp. And I kid you not, it was bright and sunny outside. Birds were singing. It was a beautiful day. And you go inside the gates, and the minute you cross this threshold, it is silent. And it is heavy. And it is just sad. We were able to explore the whole camp, so we went to the barracks and we saw the tight living spaces that they were living in. We saw shoes, like small kid shoes, lining the fence. We were able to go into the showers, and it was so haunting, humbling, and it was an unbelievable experience. I love World War II and learning about World War II and all the stories that go along with it. So World War II historical fiction, my favorite historical fiction to read, as well as The Dust Bowl. So I'm very excited to read this book. The other one that I'm going to be reading is The Great Alone by Kristin Hannah. This is about a family named the Albrights. The dad came home from the Vietnam War completely changed, so he decides to uproot his entire family and move to America's last frontier, which is Alaska, and they live off-grid and alone, and they're all trying to work through their own lives while also being isolated from everybody. I love Kristin Hannah's writing. The Nightingale is the only book I've read by her. Obviously, it's my favorite book by her. My husband bought me a special edition of it because I loved it so much. So I'm very excited to read another one of hers, and I've been wanting to read this one since I got it 8 months ago. So we're going to read it this year. And the last book on my 10 before the end, I honestly have no idea what it's about. One of my favorite YouTubers recommended it in one of his videos and gushed about it, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to buy it. Actually, I did not intend to buy it. I intended to just borrow it from the library because it's an older book, should be easy to find. But when I went to one of the local bookstores, they had it on sale for $2, so I went ahead and got it. And that is The Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. She's hefty, but he said that it made him laugh, it made him cry, gave all the emotions and the feelings. It was also Pat Conroy's prose was amazing. So I'm really excited. I like to introduce new authors into my taste, and I have another book recommendation by him called South of Broad that I will be reading if I enjoy Prince of Tides. So that is my 10 before the end. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you've read any of these, please feel free to let me know down below. If you have any other ones that make you cry or historical fictions that you really enjoyed, please let me know that as well. I am super excited to start this TBR. I'm also super excited to finish the last days and tell you guys all about this in a couple of weeks. Posting might be a little weird. I may not. Next post would be the week of Thanksgiving, so depending on what's going on, I may not post that week. But the last Monday of November will be my November TBR reading wrap up. So we'll see how it goes, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time in the library. Bye!